Greetings, and welcome back to LA Quill. Today we're diving into the fifth rule of writing a novel, a principle that quietly separates the dreamers from the doers, the hobbyists from the authors, and the hopeful from the published. It's one of the least glamorous parts of the writing journey, but also one of the most essential, because once you've typed the end, once you've edited and revised and polished and sent your story into the world, the real challenge begins. Staying in motion. The writing life is not a single door you walk through. It is a hallway lined with doors. And the fifth rule is all about making sure you keep knocking, keep trying the handles, and keep placing your work where it has the best chance of being discovered. The truth is that finishing a novel can feel like a cresting of a mountain peak. You imagine a blazing sunrise, a triumphant moment of clarity, maybe even a celebratory drink held aloft as you gaze over the landscape you conquered. But the moment your manuscript leaves your hands, carried off in an email to an agent or tucked into an online submission form, you suddenly realize that this peak is not the end. It's a way station, a moment to breathe before the next ascent. And this is where many writers freeze. They wait. They refresh their inbox. They agonize over whether silence means rejection, or whether a rejection means their book is doomed, or whether they should be doing something else entirely. And in that stillness, momentum dies. The fifth rule, then, is simple to state and difficult to practice. Keep your work moving. When you finish a novel, your job shifts. You go from storyteller to steward, the guardian responsible for making sure your creation journeys outward into the world. Stories that stop moving tend to fade. Stories that keep traveling eventually find a home. If your path is traditional publishing, the fifth rule simply means submitting widely and submitting persistently. It means doing the research and finding publishers and agents who represent your genre and sending your manuscript to as many appropriate places as possible. Not 2 or not 3, many. One of the most common mistakes new authors make is assuming that a small sample of submissions is enough to gauge their book's future. It isn't. Publishing is as much about timing and compatibility as it is about quality. An editor may love your world building, but simply have no room left on their roster. An agent may admire your protagonist, but already represent too many books in that particular subgenre. Another imprint may be restructuring that month, making them reluctant to take risks at all. These circumstances are entirely outside of your control, but your consistency is not. By continuing to research markets and refine your query letter and send your manuscript wherever it is a good fit, you increase your chances of finding an agent or editor who reads the first chapter and thinks, yes, this is the one. Your goal is to place your novel in front of as many potential champions as possible. But what if you're following the self-publishing path? The fifth rule is no less essential here. The actions simply look different. When you choose to publish independently, you step into a dual role, author and publisher. And publishers do not simply print a book and walk away. They promote, they communicate with readers, they guide the book into visibility. For self-published fantasy authors in particular, visibility is often the biggest hurdle. Your story may contain breathtaking worlds and compelling characters and unforgettable magic, but none of that matters if no one knows your book exists. That's where the fifth rule transforms into something proactive. Not just keeping the book out there, but placing it in spaces where your audience already gathers. This often means building a presence online, joining fantasy communities, sharing behind-the-scenes glimpses of your writing process, discussing world-building choices, magic, the systems that form your magic, and your character arcs or your inspirations that shape your plot. Readers love learning how a story came to be, and those insights make your book feel human, not just a product, but a creation with heart and history. Promoting your book also means embracing places where fantasy readers naturally roam. Book-focused social platforms, forums, creative writing groups, writing communities, and even your own author website. It means offering value, not just broadcasting announcement. You aren't shouting into the void saying, "Buy my book!" You're showing readers why they might love spending time in your world. There's also the local angle, something many new authors overlook. Independent bookstores and conventions and small fantasy festivals or even local fairs can be gateways to finding your early, loyal readers. Yes, some bookstores are hesitant to stock independent titles, but many communities love supporting local creators, especially when you approach with professionalism, respect for their space, and a willingness to collaborate. Sometimes all it takes is a conversation and a strong pitch to transform reluctance into curiosity. No matter which publishing path you choose, the fifth rule is a mindset as much as a strategy. It's the understanding that your book deserves advocates, and the first advocate is you. You are the one who keeps the story alive while waiting for others to discover it. You are the one who believes in it before anyone else does. And that belief isn't arrogance. It's the duty of an author who knows the effort poured into every chapter, every revision, every late-night breakthrough, and every early morning doubt. A book that never leaves your desk never has the opportunity to touch a reader. A book that enters the world timidly may wander about unseen. But a book that continues moving, through submissions and conversations and networks and communities, stands a real chance of finding someone who reads it and feels that unmistakable spark. Another crucial aspect of this rule is emotional resilience. The submission process can be draining. Rejections can sting, even the polite ones, even the encouraging ones. And silence can be worse. But none of those outcomes reflect your worth as a writer. They're reflections of industry needs and timing and logistics. The key is to separate your identity from the business of publishing. Your value as an author does not hinge on the decisions of strangers. The fifth rule reminds us that rejection is not the end, it is simply a part of the process. Every author you admire has been rejected. Every single one. Every best-selling fantasy series began with someone deciding to keep sending the manuscript out despite the uncertainty. Persistence is not a bonus trait. It is the backbone of authorship. And while your first book is traveling the world, something else should be happening. Something equally important to your growth as a writer. Start writing the next one. That is one of the most powerful counterbalances to the anxiety of submissions and promotion. A new project gives you momentum. It places your creative focus where it belongs, on telling stories rather than waiting for verdicts. It also expands your future potential. Agents love authors with multiple ideas. Publishers look for long-term careers, not one-time submissions. Readers, once they fall in love with your voice, want more. By working on your next novel, you transform waiting time into writing time, and writing time is never wasted. The fifth rule of writing a novel is, at its heart, about faith in motion. It's the belief that stories are meant to travel, meant to reach, meant to connect. But they can only do that if their author continues opening doors for them. Whether you are submitting queries or building an online platform, talking to readers, or crafting your next great fantasy epic, you are participating in the living cycle of storytelling. Your novel is more than words bound between covers, physical or digital. It is an invitation to step into a world only you could create. It deserves the chance to find its readers, and that chance increases every time you choose action over hesitation. Picture your book as a traveler. You are the one packing its bag, giving it directions and sending it out the door. Every query is a road. Every reader interaction is a bridge. Every bookstore meeting, social media post, website update, or convention appearance becomes a lantern lighting its path. And eventually, if you keep that lantern lit, someone will see you glow. They will pick up your book. They will open to page 1. And your story, at long last, will begin its journey through the imagination of a reader who has been waiting, perhaps unknowingly, for exactly what you have written. And that's our tale from L.A. Quill today. What part of the publishing journey feels the most mysterious or intimidating to you? Leave a comment and let's talk about it. Until next time, may your stories always be magical.